Hey guys, welcome to FoundFlix. I had originally thought that Stranger Things had already been renewed for seasons 3 and 4, but apparently that actually hadn't been confirmed. It was just the Duffers saying they imagined the show running 3 or 4 seasons, and sometimes 5 as well. Well, if you were even a little worried about Stranger Things returning for another season, worry no more, as earlier today, Netflix tweeted out an official announcement. For the love of Steve, duh! So hold tight, baby darts, season 3 is officially happening. This renewal is pretty much a no-brainer for Netflix, as the show has been a tremendous success for them. Season 1 was a sleeper breakout hit, leading to critical acclaim, a ton of merchandise, a whopping 18 Emmy nominations, and 5 wins. This season has been huge as well, and even though Netflix doesn't release viewer data themselves, Nielsen determined that the season 2 premiere was watched by a staggering 15.8 million people, which puts it amongst the highest watched shows on broadcast TV, nearly rivaling The Walking Dead. So yeah, that would be crazy not to renew the show. But of course at this stage, season 3 is very early in development, so there aren't too many specific details out there. But the Duffers have given us some idea of what they're thinking about regarding the new season. In general terms, they are again treating season 3 as one long movie rather than utilizing the typical episodic TV structure. What's fun to me is that we can make movies, but we are no longer restricted by this 2-hour time frame. It gives us this bigger canvas to paint on. It opens up all sorts of new storytelling possibilities. This style of storytelling has worked out well for the show so far, and it allows each season to feel like one complete story on its own, while still continuing a bigger story. So in a way, they are looking at season 3 as a clean slate for the show to start with a brand new story. And they specifically structured the end of season 2 to not feature too many cliffhangers unlike season 1, which forced them to pay off on the many dangling threads they had left. Season 2 has a quite conclusive, upbeat ending, bringing everyone together at the snowball and closing the gate, leaving not many questions in the air. Last year, we had a lot of little cliffhangers at the end of the season. We didn't want to do that again. We didn't want to box ourselves in for season 3. We wanted to be able to start season 3 on a very clean slate. But there is of course the lingering threat of the Mind Flayer, and the Duffers promise that season 3 will feature another showdown between the monster and Eleven. They've shut the door on the Mind Flayer, but not only is it still there in the Upside Down, it's very much aware of the kids, and particularly Eleven. It had not encountered her and her powers until that final episode. Now it knows that she's out there. However, if you're worried that the show will become even larger in scale after that CG blowout in the finale, that will not be the case. Season 2 was definitely a step up in that regard, and perhaps suffered a bit with this, with a favor on the bigger action side of things rather than spending as much time with the characters. And it sounds like the Duffers are interested in creating a more intimate story in season 3, focusing on the characters rather than increasing in scope. As Matt says, it's not necessarily going to be bigger in scale. What I'm really excited about is giving these characters an interesting journey to go on. So it sounds like we will see more of the kids' trials and tribulations of growing up, rather than quite as much with that pesky other dimension. And just as in season 2, our story will most likely jump ahead 1 year to accommodate the kids aging, which puts them in high school, which has the potential for tons of character drama, including potentially Jane joining her classmates and getting to act like a normal kid for a change. Our kids are aging. We can only write and produce the show so fast. They're going to be almost a year older by the time we start shooting season 3, so it forces you to do a time jump. 1 year later would set the story in 1985, and most likely just as in season 2, many classic genre movies released that year will be referenced. But there are 2 of major importance that I can think of: The Goonies and Back to the Future. In a way, The Goonies is already a huge influence on the show overall, with both featuring a band of kids getting wrapped up in a big adventure. But this season made that connection even more overt, casting the Goonies star Sean Astin as Joyce's new beau, Bob Newby. And at one point, he even makes reference to finding treasure on a map, the main focus of the Goonies story. One aspect from the Goonies that could be introduced in season 3 that might be pretty hilarious is the idea of the residential development taking over the town. For the Goonies, they set out in search of treasure to save their small town, which is in danger of being destroyed. This could be explored in season 3 with the idea of commercialism taking over Hawkins and potentially destroying the small town. Maybe in the year between seasons, this has already started happening, and there's now a mall in town. I'm surprised they haven't used the kids at the mall concept at all in the show, as this is absolutely a staple of 80s culture. And it would be fun to see this done with the Duffers' particular touch of nostalgia. And then we have the king of 1985 and one of the most beloved movies of all time, Back to the Future. Any kid alive in the 80s was obsessed with this series and rewatched Marty and Doc Brown's time-traveling, mom-romancing shenanigans over and over again. And surprisingly, amongst all the show's many pop culture references, it hasn't really touched on Back to the Future yet. Or has it? The answer is in this box. So let's crack this baby open, huh? Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. That's right, Max's skateboard. How cool looking is that? Makes me want to get out there and shred some ollies. No, but this is really awesome. And yes, Max's skateboard is a reference to Back to the Future. Here's the story, which once again shows us just how obsessed with details the Duffers are. When they went to create Max's skateboard for the show, they knew how important it was to get the prop right, and they reached out to Madrid skateboards to provide an authentic 80s look. But even more specifically, because Madrid is the same company that designed Marty McFly's skateboard in Back to the Future. What? I know, this is such a minute detail that would go completely unnoticed by even the most hardcore of fans. But it's amazing they put that much thought into something as specific as who designed Max's board. If you want to get some of these awesome boards for yourself, Madrid has a replica of Max's board for sale, as well as a line of other sweet designs available at their website. Special thanks to Shane for sending me the boards. And hey, since there's two of them, why not do a giveaway for one? That sound like something you'd be interested in? All you gotta do is head over to my Instagram account at FoundFlix. Make sure you're following me and like and comment on the specific post about the giveaway. And I'll randomly pick a winner sometime before the end of the year. So get on over there because these are pretty badass. I don't know, I might have to keep them for myself. No, you got, all right, it's fine. Also, it doesn't surprise me for the Duffers to hide a huge reference like this in plain sight. I mean, who would ever know? But this was certainly by design, and is perhaps a subtle hint to the potential of time travel coming into the show next season, just as other elements in the show clue us in on future plot developments. And considering season 3 will take place in '85, what better way to pay homage to Back to the Future than involving time travel in some way? Even in their initial treatment by the Duffers, when the show was still called Montauk, time travel was a major component to the story. And while we haven't seen this in the aired season so far, they could definitely bring that idea back next season. If the idea as theorized by Mr. Clark is there are an infinite number of universes surrounding us, then it could be that time travel is achieved by accessing a specific doorway amongst these infinite dimensions. Whew, that was a lot of words there. What about that? This would allow us to potentially see the beginnings of Hawkins and the MK Ultra experiments that in a way set in motion the events of the show. These have been kept essentially undeveloped, and we can see through the past how they first came together, and here maybe also learn of them experimenting with time travel. And this could be reintroduced into the present tense story via the return of Brenner, a survivor of the original MK Ultra group. This could also let us see how the Upside Down came to be. If they are able to travel to the beginning of what the dimension looked like, would it look exactly as our own, rather than dead and decayed? And it begs the question, is it possible to stop the Upside Down before it even starts? That would all be interesting to see explored, but we will have to wait and see if the Duffers choose to involve time travel or not. Don't worry about any of the cast not coming back, as most likely all of the main cast is expected to return, along with season 2 newcomers Billy and Max. But what about Collie, aka the Lost Sister? It definitely feels like her story isn't complete, and it sounds like the Duffers will further explore the character in the next season. It would feel weird that we wouldn't resolve that storyline. Chances are high that she comes back. Most likely we will continue to be introduced to other subjects from the Hawkins lab as well, and I think that will be a huge part of the show going forward. Well guys, that's about all we know for now about season 3 of Stranger Things, but there's still plenty more to speculate on in the meantime, and at least we know for sure the show is coming back. Unfortunately, we have no release date or episode count or anything, and production is still in very early stages. So it'll most likely be 2019 before we head back to Hawkins. But make sure to stay tuned to FoundFlix for all the latest news on Stranger Things 3 as we all impatiently wait. And don't forget to enter that giveaway for the board over on Instagram. You know what to do. What are you most hoping to see in season 3? Do you think introducing time travel is a good idea? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Thanks for watching FoundFlix. See you next time. Thanks again, Shane. Appreciate it, buddy.